Thank you for being here and welcome to this beautiful transmission. Just a little taste of what the conscious relationship is all about. That every single woman, you, is worthy of receiving. So what does it mean? What does it mean to cultivate? What does it mean to even have a conscious relationship? You know, we hear a lot about conscious relationships and twin flames or sacred unions or polarity, but do we know what they mean? And when we speak about this, we are really speaking about the divine feminine and sacred masculine, which play important roles in the conscious relationship. And they can only really work when there is a beautiful connection between the two within yourself. And this is what my work is really about, is igniting this divine feminine within to meet with the intentional, purposeful, sacred masculine, to hold all that you are. As this is how we take ownership of our life that feels easy and, you know, where we really thrive as a woman. And when I speak about the feminine principle or this energy, it is exactly that. It is an energy. It is a principle that we all have regardless of gender. Most of my work is about the cultivation of the embodiment of the divine feminine, as this is the essence that has been so repressed and ignored within us women as well as men. So it's not about being more feminine or more of anything, really. It's quite the opposite. It's more about the connection, coming into attunement with your true essence. It's the coming home to the authentic essence that you are, which is that of love. So my work is that of the feminine, mostly in women. Well, it is for women. So really take this, you know, how it feels and how it resonates for you today in this talk, and just feel into it as I speak, because that is what the feminine is. It is the feeling, the receiving. And what we need to understand is that a conscious relationship begins with the woman resting in her divine feminine, resting in and melting in her knowing that is love. You, as a woman, you are the beholder of love. And this is the underlying medicine for everything. This is your power. So the conscious relationship all begins with you knowing your power through the connection of your heart and your sexual energy, which resides down here in your womb, the great portal to spirit, to life. So to build this conscious relationship, women have to be really clear about what she desires, what she wants. You know, and you have to be clear about your standards and your own essence, really standing in integrity with that knowing, to really know that this is the place that you thrive. When you are in your feminine nature, this is how you naturally become magnetic to the man, to the relationship that your heart, that your soul desires. So to build this conscious relationship, the woman has to become attuned to the sensations of her body and what is her truth, as opposed to, you know, what is happening up here. And from there, you guide him with your open heart. From there, you move through your relationship, whether you are dating or currently in a relationship, but you move through that with knowing, and not from the place of conditionings and fear, where your heart tends to close up, right? So it's moving from this space of knowing your worth, knowing your standards, knowing your boundaries, what you are saying, this is non-negotiable, and knowing your desires in a relationship. And of course, knowing how to attune to your intuitive knowings, which resides in here, not from here, but in here, right? And this takes presence. It takes you really really melting into your energetic body with pleasure practices. And this is what I teach. So you continuously open to receiving what is really in alignment with this, with your heart. So to know how the conscious relationship works, it begins when you are conscious of your own natural essence, which is inherently whole and open to so much love. It's knowing how to hold yourself in safety, through challenging times. It's knowing how to communicate, not from the place of fear, but from the place of presence. It's knowing what you truly desire, again, not from the place of fear or from doubt, but where you go into, places of stress and anxiety and that beggar's energy where you need to have this relationship. Instead, you walk through life really holding yourself with so much love, opening your heart. So to be conscious means to experience truth. It means to experience God, the goddess, whatever you want to call it, the divine, intuition. All of it is, that is to be conscious. And this is a lifelong journey, and one that I devote myself to so that I can be sitting here speaking to you about this. So the conscious relationship then is experienced in the coming together of two people who consciously devote themselves or make a decision to this path of deepening into this understanding of truth even more, rather than coming together to fill up, these empty holes inside of each other, or filling up some perceived lack. It's not about seeking this never-ending honeymoon phase or crazy, passionate, sexual experiences. This is a false illusion of what we've been taught. Instead, it is coming into this relationship to that grounded place of peace, love, an absolute feeling of home, where you both hold space for one another to then blossom into your fullest. And this is what I love, again, seeing women really finding that within themselves first, so they really can cultivate that with someone else, or with whatever you want to really bring into your life. So our relationship becomes a constant reminder of what our true essential nature is, like our essential being, which is love, which is whole. And this is what the conscious relationship is about. So to enter this sort of relationship, we need to know that our true essence is love. It's everything. So, and with that, you really come into that feeling of freedom and liberation. So the relationship never feels constrictive. It's the place of freedom, as this is always, that love and that freedom is always inside of ourselves. So the relationship then becomes this space or this opportunity where you express more of that. But it has to begin with you as the woman, Because when a woman is empowered, right, really, truly empowered, you're standing in your central sovereign essence, and you walk into this relationship with an open heart, and you walk in with no games. This is how we can really help this relationship blossom, because you're making decisions not from the mind or from control. You're making decisions from the space of, from your intuitive knowing. So a woman must already be on this path of devotion to her higher self. You need to have these conversations where you express very directly what you are available for and not available for. And that is part of this path. And it comes from this space of love and integrity to your own feminine essence. When I think about my relationship and me voicing my boundaries and, what I was really not available for, and it was non-negotiable. My partner and I have been together for over 5 years now. And it really, when I did this, it really offered him this opportunity to look inside of himself, to connect with himself, to sit with what's really true, or what's really aligned to his own truth, and what it is that he's yearning for. So me expressing my own needs, this allowed him to then, well, it challenged him. I'm not going to say it was easy. It challenged him, but it gave him the opportunity to up level his own truth, to step it up in his own connection to his own soul. Really, it sharpened his own self, and that is the power of the woman, right? So that's the power of the feminine, because you are connected to truth, which is love. So what you do is, when you communicate this with him, you present this opportunity for him to continue stepping it up in his own heart and power. So we need to stop being afraid of really expressing what it is, what that we truly desire. Right? Because this is what stops us from opening ourselves up to receiving what's really aligned then to our heart. So when you do express your needs and your desires, and you come in with an open heart and you say, yeah, this is who I am, you will also know as well from the beginning, if you are just dating, whether or not a man is willing to be committed to you then, and your needs and your desires, but not only yours, but to his as well. So when a man is not, this generally means, this is where you need to also tune in and listen to your feeling, knowing body. But it generally means he's not ready to step into his own power as a man, to come into that place of presence and consciousness and humbleness and gentleness. But when a man does present moments, where he's willing to, like I said, if you were in a relationship already, there might be some moments of challenges in this, but you will see and you will feel the willingness, because it will make your heart feel safe. And when you see this, when he is willing, he becomes open to always having the humbleness and the humility to always look inside of himself and find the courage to find his heart also. So when a woman connects deeply with her heart, because remember, you are the beholder of love, she offers him the way to this also. She gives him permission to know how to tend to his own needs and heart. And, this is something we are not taught. in our society. And the thing is, sometimes men will say they want a powerful woman, but what does that mean to them? Because then I see, and I've experienced this myself in the past, is that they then cannot, they're not able to really fully accept what that really means, to accept this powerful woman. They question if they can actually fully accept this full capacity of her, and this woman who she's very clear on her own mission and her direction, and she doesn't need to manipulate. Instead, she just softens into her own knowing, her own intuitive knowing, and then she leads with her open heart and speaks from this space. And this can shake him to the core, because the feminine has this great capacity to really see his darkness, and she will bring that out of him, because the feminine is dark. It's not always light. When I speak about love, it is really acknowledging the dark pieces of us as well. So this will shake him. But a man who is, in his power and really, or willing to be, and really flourishes. He will flourish with an empowered woman. And he will rest in his own ability to trust whatever a woman's knowing is brought to the table. When he sees her flourishing, blossoming in her sensual state, of thrival, this is so attractive and magnetic. He's not afraid of that. Instead, he uses that as his medicine to continue expanding into his own gentle, loving power, where he's willing to continue facing these dark aspects of himself. And this is how he moves into his true masculine power. He doesn't find his power by competing with you, or based on what he does and his accomplishments. It's in his ability to be present with you. And he finds the courage to continue standing in his own warrior heart, where he continues to fight his own inner demons, to continue seeing you as a woman thrive in your flourishing, sensual, loving nature. And this is what the conscious relationship is all about, where we uplift each other. We don't put men down and emasculate them. We're here to uplift and love on them, just the same way that they do it for us, but in a different way. So we need to celebrate one another and welcome the greatness of our power and their strengths and their spaces of potential. We're here not to control and make them into something. Instead, we're here to uplift them and really see them in their wholeness. And this happens only when you are rested in your feminine, because then it invites him to step into his masculine, right? And this is where we create space to, when we're really melting into our thrival state. So for a woman in her feminine and for him in his masculine, we then create this beautiful entity, this sacred union. And in this space, this entity, it's like a solid container, right? Where we both grow and we open. This is where women then flourish even more into her feminine. when you go into these containers with such surrender and softness, and you go into these joyful places with him, and you allow the slowness and softness, and you allow yourself to just melt into your happy place, which is very receptive, and he then lands in his happy place, which is about being on purpose, and it gives him drive to see you in that beautiful, flourishing, opening state. And then together, you empower the union. And then this is the union that you create between both of you, that helps you to continue realizing more of one another's truth. This union where you connect deeper with love that can only really be found in this connectiveness, this dance of life that you really continue growing together. This container that creates this foundation where you discover more of each other's truths and gifts. And this is the foundation that creates a vibrant new energy between you that wouldn't have been there without both of your flourishing states, right? But then you both are committed to whatever the relationship brings forth to you in the relationship, including the challenges. And then this is where the strong foundation of love is very important, because that's what continues to help you shine more of your hidden selves, more of your old patterns. You continue bringing those fears up, right? But because your relationship is on that solid, loving foundation, you can both move through the challenges together. But you as a woman guide this flow, this energy of the relationship. So it's important to know how this feels in yourself. It's important to know how it feels to be fully connected with your own body through sensuality, through your own cosmic erotic love. This is the work of the feminine. So it's essential for a woman to know how it feels to be resting in her feminine essence, not in the control, but right here, in the yumminess, right here. This is where you receive more of him. And this is the place where you communicate what you need and desire from that melted, soft, feminine flow state. And from when you do and you communicate this, you continue to show up for you, and he continues to show up for him, for you, and for the relationship as well. So this is not possession. This is really the beautiful dance, a weaving of knowing how to be open and receptive, but also strong, in your magnetic receiving abilities, and to allow him to lead as he follows your intuition. So, and that's what I mean. It's like this beautiful fluid dance together where you are just able to really see each other for what you are, which is whole and abundant and of love. And then when you see that, you move through challenges much easier. When you surrender and you lean into him and his leadership, when you allow him to take the lead, this doesn't make you as a woman weak. In fact, it makes you strong, because you are the leading, driving force of this energy, because it comes from you, your deep knowings, from your intuition, from your womb, through the connection of your heart. And this is a very powerful energy, as it requires trust in yourself. This is very powerful because this is how you become magnetic. Because you know when to drop back and how to trust him. When you trust him as well, he wants to lead you. You know, it takes devotion to this kind of self-leadership. And if he's leading as well from the space that, you know, feels stressed or lazy even, or not grounded or not deeply rooted into his heart, we feel this as women. We feel it. And but we can guide him with our own loving energy, our soft feminine energy, which is strong. Right? This is still strong because you also know your standards here. You know what you're saying. No, I'm not taking that. I'm not aligned with that. Is not aligned with me. And when when you feel that he's not present or leading with integrity, you feel this, and this is what makes us feel then angry or we feel resentful. The growth stops. So it's our responsibility, as well as it is for men. It's our responsibility to be so clear about what you desire, what you want in your life, and the type of relationship that you want. It means also being real and vulnerable and raw to know what your heart desires and how it feels as well, when you make choices to show up for that. It takes integrity. And this might bring up some challenges, but again, when you surrender to your heart, there is no wrong in this. And when you communicate to him exactly what you desire and what you need, not from control, not from fear, but from real love, you give him the responsibility to then show up really fully, to continue holding the spine of safety. And when for me, myself, I always know when my partner's not being present, and it happens, And when this happens, I'm also aware of when I feel triggered by that. And this in itself offers an invitation to go deeper into what is happening here. And usually what is happening is a closure of the heart out of fear from old patterns. And these are some of the things that I work with, as well as we look at fear and we work with shame and guilt, where this is taking place in our lives. So this, conscious relationship, it takes tremendous devotion and daily work to ourselves as individuals, and to one another, and then to the relationship as well, which is another entity on its own. And this, when you do this and you show up every single day, this is where the beautiful growth happens. And in this blossoming, in this relationship, is where you discover more beautiful pieces of love within you and your great capacity to love, to hold love. And through that, that any challenges that arise, then any dark moments, you can both hold yourself on your own. But then You also are there for one another, for the relationship too, as well. So this is, a beautiful devotion to always express yourself immediately, to always, continue aligning, knowing what is aligned with your heart, and to express it, to know that you are worthy of expressing this. Because when you do and you express yourself freely and you say, this is what I need from you, this is what I desire, you remind him of his own deep presence and his purpose as well, and how it's important for him to be grounded and present and to be aware of, how you are both showing up fully. It invites him to continuously be more conscious, and it invites you as well to always be here. This is what's going to guide you, to always be devoted to dropping into your heart, so then you offer him the path to do that as well. So, doing this work is really, it's more than just mindset work. It's really becoming the embodiment of the feminine, which is the pathway to your pleasures and your loving heart and your knowing your desires that reside in your womb. And through this, you will always know your worth, which is everything, which is infinitely abundant. And this is the conscious relationship with yourself, and this is the work of the feminine. And then through that, you don't fear to close your heart, or you don't fear being vulnerable, and you don't fear opening yourself up to receiving that bigger love that is always available to you, right? So it really takes you really knowing how to drop into your own beauty and your own love and your own radiance and your own sensuality, so then you can continue opening to receive this man who's willing to give you everything that he has. And that's the beautiful dance here. And through this, you find yourself. You find in this conscious relationship, you find out more of who you are, because they become your mirror, and you see yourself in the eyes of him, and you see him as this beautiful spirit of love, and you realize that you are the guardian of love, and you are here as the beholder of love. When you know this, you realize how much power you really have in the relationship, and this is the glue to your conscious relationship, the love. Because you begin to see yourself. You see him as your reflection of love. You see yourself, your divinity through him. And that's what this work is all about, my loves. This work of the feminine and the conscious relationship, that is the devotion to this path of always choosing love, which is a place of freedom. And this is what I love guiding women in, really knowing how to come home to themselves in this feminine remembrance of, sensuality, of your own true magnetic loving nature. And it is in this that we stop searching, and we liberate ourselves, and we open like a flower. We continue opening ourselves up to continually allowing more beauty and radiance and joy and bliss into our body, into our life. And this is what I love guiding women with, especially in the 10-week group container, Feminine Remembrance, Come Home to Yourself, which will be beginning again early next year. So please let me know if that's something that's really landing for you, and you'll know, because you'll walk away feeling, you might be feeling something from this. So really tune into that feeling and listen to that soul, that alignment, to your heart. And I will also be leaving you a 7-day erotic woman embodiment program. It's free for you to have a real taste of what it feels like to open your heart and to ignite your pleasure and to be present in your body and to fall back in your feminine essence, which is this innate, receptive nature, to really magnetize the man or anything you truly desire in your life. I will leave you there, my loves. And as you walk away from this, just really, really feel into this information and this transmission today. And yeah, just listen to that. What is that for you? What is your heart wanting from you today? I will leave you there. That was just a little bit about your conscious relationships, but the conscious relationship starts with the relationship with yourself. To really always know how to really come back into this place of love and truth. Thank you. I will drop the links below. And sending you my love. Sending so much love to you. Bye. Mwah.